All right, it's Sherry again. All right, because Spirit was very involved in gently nudging me into giving this writing workshop a try, and and I was open, and accepting to the possibilities, and why does it hurt? Just say yes. And I'm so very, very glad that I did. But of course, my spirit guides have a wonderful, wonderful sense of humor, and are so full of joy and encouragement and support. And I know I pull through a lot of that same joy, and it's a very childlike feeling in most times. And so I know that's very reflective in the channelings and stuff that come through in my drawings or even in poetry, which makes me happy. It does. It really, it's just wonderful. So of course, my spirit guides are, oh, well, let's not just write one poem, let's write two. And actually, so as I'd explained in the previous video about the bobcat, we were kind of given a guideline list of animals, that we could write a poem to represent, from the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. So, with my first poem being, not only another animal, but in another park system. Actually, there was an animal from the Cuyahoga Valley National Park system, that was on their kind of list, was the mosquito. And it's kind of funny. So, when they were doing the presentation and they were kind of listing off, the animals and the plants, that as suggestions, the mosquito was the last one. And the presenter had worded it as, oh, yes, and everyone's favorite, the mosquito. And so, of course, as soon as Spirit heard that, they were rushing in. They're like, yes, that's the one that you were going to write another poem about. And it's definitely not coincidental, or just merely coincidental that just a couple weeks ago, I had a dream about mosquitoes. But it also stems from, I'd actually was recording a video of some channeling I was bringing through, and I believe it was in December, before Christmas. And it was a very oddly mild day. And I think it may have rained, the day before. And I was only out there, maybe in just a jean jacket and a sweater. And so as I was setting up and I was getting ready to channel, and I do verbal channeling and singing or humming, chanting, channeling. I do hand signing. As I was getting ready to channel, and I knew that the first channeling coming through was going to be song, there was a swarm of mosquitoes that showed up, and there were about 5 of them in there. And I was thinking, well, that's very strange that there are mosquitoes in December. But I just, and I've actually done this before successfully with mosquitoes. If one is flying around me, and this just started, end of summer, probably around the end of summer. I actually, I know it might sound kind of weird, kind of talk to the mosquitoes. I'll see one flying around me, and I'll just kind of let it know, I don't want to hurt you, I don't want to kill you. And I do that, with all the bugs in the house. I'll capture spiders or flies or whatever in a little cup and let them go outside. So, I don't really want to kill mosquitoes, but, they bite you and it hurts, and your first instinct is to slap them, hopefully that you caught them, before they actually started getting in there. So I've been trying to just say to the mosquitoes, I don't want to kill you. So you can, as long as you don't bite me, if you're just flying around me, but you don't bite me, then I have no reason to take your life away, and it's worked. I know that sounds, it might sound like crazy, but it's almost like magical, that it's actually worked. I've not had a mosquito bite in since summer last year. So when I saw this group of 5 mosquitoes, I kind of did the same thing. I was like, whoa. I'm like, all right, if you're going to be here, it's like you can join me, and hang out, but don't bite me, and your life will be spared. And the whole time that I was doing my channeling, that's all they did. They were just, they're, in kind of front of me, and I could see them. And they never, not one of them bit me. So it was just, I don't know, it was like just a magical miracle. So that ended up, being the reason why the mosquito was now kind of calling to me to write a poem about it. And I wanted to kind of frame the poetry around, because since the presenter had even said, oh yeah, sarcastically, everybody's favorite, I kind of wanted to write a poem that would kind of shed a little bit of lightness, surrounding the mosquito. So, in doing so, after I wrote it, and then when I felt nudged to videotape this to share it, and I channel a mantid being, and it's not in English, and it's a very strange sound that kind of reminds me of a cross between like the Swedish Chef Muppet and like the Marvin the Martian, from Looney Tunes, crossed with like Alvin and the Chipmunks. A lot of my channeling is not in English. It is either from, like Indian ancestry, cosmic sources, and so very little comes through in English words. So in doing this, and I don't know if it's just because of the close association, within the insect family, why my mantid being has kind of started chiming in. And as far as I, probably assume, it could have even been, this being that was, my muse, my channeling inspiration in writing the poem that I did. And so I guess to kind of go along to, to kind of show that, I kind of draw and write, like a 10-year-old. I have the heart of a child. So I am to share my channeled drawing of, I guess, kind of like a self-portrait of him, or at least how it kind of came through to me through my hands, with my limited artistic abilities. This is my portrayal of him. But I'm supposed to share this as well, so hopefully I can get this in the camera and you can see it. I might have to bring it a little closer because I think the sun behind me might be, I think it's is it too washed out? I don't know if you can really see the color very much. It's all very colorful, it's all very rainbow. Yeah, I don't think the colors are coming up so much, but mantid beings are very much into musical and color and flow. So you can even see some of the like little swirls and shapes in the background. And I'm like trying to go backwards and everything is opposite. So I don't know, I know that the colors aren't really coming through. It looks very pale in the camera. But I guess just to give you, kind of an idea of where my talents lie, that they are very childlike. So I hadn't, done any poetry, written any poetry since the last time I was forced to, as a grade in high school. And so this was a challenge to me, even just the art that I've been doing, the channel drawings and everything has been such a challenge. Well, I shouldn't say a challenge for me. It is because, I gave myself such a hard time, especially in school, thinking that my stuff was never good enough, especially compared to, people who were just so full of obvious, like, natural talent, that I never compared. My stuff looked like, a 5-year-old did it. So now here I am, 49 years later, and now, learning to wholly accept, my childlike interpretations, through writing and through drawing, and that it's okay, and I don't need to compare it to anyone or anything else. And if it brings me joy and happiness, that joy and happiness, I think, really is reflected, into that. And that's what the world needs. That's the frequency and the vibration, that's being sent out there. So it's not so much, whether my artwork looks like Michelangelo, or, my singing channeling, sounds like, a famous opera singer. Or that my poetry, doesn't sound like, I'm trying to think of a famous poet, or Shakespeare, and that it doesn't matter, and to just have fun with it. So that's what I've done, and so that's what I did today. And this poem especially, I do like this one more than my Bobcat poem, and so this one just makes me very happy. So I'm very happy to share it with you. All right. It is titled Magical Encounter with Five Mosquitos. Ouch, you delicate-skinned humans proclaim. Splat goes the sound as a perceived pest is slain. Your sense of victory as the larger species remains, while the same blood now mixed is Mother Nature's gain. We are as one, all big, all small, all short and all tall, whether we are all-legged or all winged, or only living here in spring, summer, or fall. It is in frequency that all of nature resounds. It is in frequency that we come from common ground. Let us now share that same frequency and love abound. So come share your human heart song with us, in thought, word, and deed. And your loving request for a cease and desist will buzzingly be heed. So that is my poem. And so this is kind of unexpected. I'm also feeling a channeling coming through. And I definitely know it's not going to be English. So hopefully don't freak anybody out. I'm just going with the flow. I'm going with the flow of His Spirit, and it's always in light and love, and it's just a wondrous thing. All right. And Bo will be very proud of me. Ground, clear, protect. Holy Neketo ho weseno hekole hanokopo hekeneke kekono. Asonokoi halekeneye hanokopo e anokotoke. Ele ano hesonokoke henakopo e nokotoya he ahoyalo. Ele anakoteya hanakoso, amakopoe heya haleheya heya ho. Ome hanako anasaheya nako ebena enakone heya loa no. Olanakote hanakoseya, alomone ene koya heya. Onakotoye arasoyo alahoye no kapoya ho. Elono anahoye alahona soa heya haloho. Anamokoto anakaheye anahohoya hayaseya hayaho. Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Oh, that just gave me all kinds of just, I don't know, nice little good goosey bump tingles and just a sense of loving peacefulness is just settling over me right now. And I hope that transmits through. I feel like that was just a very just nature-based, very grounding message of just oneness in nature and the unity of all. Oh, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. Love to all of you. Mwah.